Hello, people, and it is Sunday, October 22nd. Video game adapted news, the weekly roundup. A roundup of the news that I could find. This is for the week of the 16th to the 22nd. Let's get into the news after the intro. So don't forget to like and subscribe. And then first article over here on Crossfire. There has been a news update from Michael Green, who is writing Netflix's live action. I made a small little snippet about this the other day, but now that Writers Guild strike is over, they are about to go back to start writing on BioShock. And quote from Mr. Green himself, Netflix has been amazing about it. They were excited about it before the strike. They're excited about it now, post-strike. Further detailing the immediate aftermath of the strike, Green said, "Yes, I got called. How's it coming along? The minute strike was over." So he's saying Netflix was basically hollering at him as soon as the strike was over because they're excited to get into it. This is not the first time that BioShock has been tried to bring to the big screen. The video game released in 2007. Just so you know, I paraphrase. I don't read the exact thing. It became quickly acclaimed as one of the greatest video games of the 21st century. Had earlier been slated for adaptation by Gore Verbinski. That's the guy who directed the Pirates of the Caribbean movies and other stuff. But it was shelved due to the risks associated with producing an R-rated adaptation of a game with a substantial budget. So yeah, back then it didn't work. Now it probably would, considering that they've gotten so much better. But the video game adaptation landscape has significantly changed in Hollywood. There's a sense of renewed optimism. The success of recent video game adaptations hint at a departure from previous iterations that often disappointed fans. But Green has teamed up with Francis Lawrence, director from I Am Legend, Catching Fire, and also Constantine with Keanu Reeves. Green describes the vision as a big, sprawling nightmare world we want to see real. So all this news is reporting that this is great, but there's still going to be a while before we see this, obviously, because he's still writing it. Over here on NME, a newer interview with Miss Bellaramsey, who of course was blew up this year, but she's talking about her neurodivergence, which seems to be a thing that she came into during the filming of this show. I guess this came out of an Elle article. This isn't something that I would come across because it's, Elle. Bellaramsey, who says her neurodivergence massively influences her acting. Last of Us star Bellaramsey has discussed how their neurodivergence. It's weird. Notice how they're saying their instead of her or whatever. That doesn't make sense. There it means multiple people. Let's see, this is why I hate that crap. So she found out she was neurodivergent when they were filming the smash hit show after thinking for years. Find out that whilst filming, to find out, I guess there's a spelling mistake, to find out that whilst filming the show was super special, they told Elle earlier this year. In a new interview with The Times, Ramsey has asked if their neurodivergence influenced their acting. She says, massively. I don't know if I'd be an actor if it wasn't for that. One of my things is I'm very perceptive, sometimes too perceptive. I get paralyzed because I see everything. It takes me 4 hours to get around Tesco's. I don't know what that means. I don't know what that means. It must mean maybe a British thing that I'm not getting. Ramsey received particular praise for her starring role as the 14-year-old protagonist, Ellie. Ellie, yeah, for some reason I forgot her name. It's kind of confusing. Bella and Ellie. That's not that hard to get confused. She received praise as 14-year-old protagonist Ellie in the TV adaptation of The Last of Us. In a 4-star review of the show's season, NME wrote, when The Last of Us was announced, a vocal corner of the corner exploded into anxious anticipation. While some sniping that Ramsey didn't look enough like Ellie. Gamers have been burned before by poorly conceived adaptations of their favorite titles. So they're naturally skeptical, but they didn't have it. The Last of Us lacks novel ideas, but when it's this good, it can get away with it. Okay, that's true, I guess. This isn't a very interesting article. It's like they took a little tiny piece of something that she said, and then suddenly the article becomes almost something else altogether. It's basically her saying, yeah, being neurodivergent really helped. Moving on to Horror News Network. Here's 2 sneak peeks into Five Nights at Freddy's, which is going to be coming out on the 27th next week. Five Nights at Freddy has just released 2 little sneak peeks, 2 little snippets. 2 new teasers out for Five Nights at Freddy's coming out in a week. I'm thinking it's going to be like a 6.577 IMDb rating kind of movie. I'm just guessing, but we'll find out when it comes out on the 27th. I will put a link to these below. These are just kind of puff pieces that aren't barely even kind of really worth watching for me personally. Even if it's a clip from the movie, I'm like, okay, yeah, they have like a 9-minute clip here, which is probably a piece from the movie. The Five Nights at Freddy's screens going and going. Okay. All right, so the first one is a puff piece, but then this one is like emulating what the game looks like, even though I've never played it. I am aware that you're looking at security monitors a lot. And this is a 9-minute look at security monitors. I guess we get to hear scenes, different conversations of things happening. Yeah, that's cool though. I mean, I don't play the game, but I dig that they use part of what the game is about as part of a promotional tool. I think that's a smart idea, and more people should do that for sure. This is essentially what the game kind of looks like when you play it, but that's all about as much as I know about the game itself. But kudos to them for promoting their film in a cool way. Over here on MovieWeb.com, there is rumors that maybe Arcane Season 2 is being cancelled. Hopefully not. With Netflix making a cutbacks in animation products, could Arcane Season 2? Yeah, I don't think so. If they're going to cut back, they're not going to cut back on something that was successful as this for the first season. It's too bad they're cutting back, though. They make a lot of pretty decent animation. Over the past year, Netflix animation department has seen some cutbacks, including budget reductions, layoffs, and even cancellations of projects. With this downsizing, it is natural for Netflix users to wonder what is in store for the future of the Netflix animation department and what else might be on the chopping block. One such show that could be affected. Yeah, see, this is just, us thinking it could be, but I mean, if they're going to cancel some animation, it would be something not as good. Something that wasn't as a huge success. People are pretty good at like creating articles from almost nothing. This isn't hardly any news. They're just speculating, totally 100% speculation that it could be canceled. This is what I would call this a clickbait article, totally, because they're just saying it's being canceled. People are going to click on it and say, "What? It's being canceled?" Then they're going to read it and be like, "Oh, they're just guessing it might be canceled." Currently, we're operating under the notion that no news is good news. There's been no official cancellation. On the other hand, no definitive release date has been announced yet. With so much uncertainty, it makes us wonder if the show is at risk of cancellation. Our 2 cents, despite the downsizing, it is likely, although not impossible, that Arcane would be cancelled. Because it is one of their best performing shows, so there's no way they would cancel it. So this is a pure, just speculation post. So they have no idea if it's going to be canceled, and I don't think it will be. I seriously doubt. I don't know. I don't even know League of Legends, but the animation was so beautiful that I just liked watching it. That's what I just love animation just for how it looks. It's the only medium where I would take how it looks over the quality of the story just to look at it. Okay, so going in the opposite direction of shows that could be turned into video games, there are some unsurprising ideas that Netflix will have video game adaptations. So it's no secret that Netflix has been kind of dipping their toe in the video game adaptation space. You can play some games through the Netflix app. There's Netflix type only on the kind of mobile app. They announced an official post on October 15th and announced that the players would be able to play Netflix games on PC, Mac, and their various TVs. What's interesting is that Netflix plans to use people's phones as a controller while they play these major titles on their own huge screens. Despite this great news, there are still limitations. Games on the TV will only be able to be played on selected brands that have partnerships, including the Amazon Fire, Chromecast, TVs, LG, Nvidia Shield, Roku devices and TVs, Samsung Smart TV, that's what I have, Xfinity, Xumo. Huh. Interesting that there's no Sony TVs there at all. Sony's a pretty popular brand, or Toshiba, and none of them are there. Playing on your PC, you can go to Netflix.com and use their keyboards and mice rather than a controller. Some speculate that Netflix is giving away these free mobile game adaptations to keep their audience entertained as they wait for new releases. By going this route, audiences are less likely to unsubscribe from Netflix. Yeah, it's not a big thing that people are aware of, so you see it more on the mobile apps, but if you're playing through your TV, you're not going to see this kind of stuff pop up. So the information was a bit more. I should be reading more news about this, but over on the Netflix website, that article I was on, clicked it over to this article, and he says it from the August. The other article said October, but maybe he got it backwards. I don't know, or they. But they're talking about how they're trying to grow their video game mobiles on over here. It's saying that some TVs, I think maybe I've seen this on my TV, I just never noticed, that you could kind of play it through with on your remote. And I mean, Netflix has an official game studio, but they hasn't really done anything new yet. But I can see them coming out with new stuff based on adaptations of their own properties. So over here on Geeky Rant, there's a trailer for an indie horror adaptation. So it's an indie film based on an indie game called Iron Lung, which I never played, and I have no clue what it's even about or what it's like. But apparently a YouTuber is directing it, so that's interesting that a YouTuber is probably independently funding this. Yeah, the whole article on this site is just a small little snippet about the trailer for the indie horror game film adaptation of the video game Iron Lung. Never heard of it. A trailer has been released for the upcoming indie horror film Iron Lung, which is a feature-length adaptation of the video game of the same name. The movie comes from YouTube star Markiplier, who is making his directorial debut with this movie. Yeah, I've seen this guy before. He's like a YouTuber who managed to transition into like film, which is probably what all those YouTubers want to do. Iron Lung, the game, comes from developer Dave Szymanski Dusk. The story is set in a post-apocalyptic future where an event known as the Quiet Rapture caused all known stars and habitable planets in the universe to disappear. A convict is sent to search an ocean of blood discovered on a desolate moon using a midget submarine nicknamed the Iron Lung. It's there that the convict discovers the Crimson Deep may hold something deadly. The trailer for the movie shows Markiplier emerging from a sea of blood. He claimed, so he's making a bold statement himself. Markiplier, whatever the hell his name is, sorry if I'm saying it wrong, claimed this movie would feature the most blood in any horror movie. This is all thanks to the setting of the blood ocean. While filming the film, the director actually ended up going to a hospital because he got too much claret in his eyes, whatever that is. Coloring, I guess? So I guess this is him himself. You don't really get to see his face, it's just covered in blood. Interesting. Well, I have no idea what the game is like, but we'll see how that turns out. Alright, well that's it for this week, the week of October 16th to the 22nd. Some decent amount of news, so nothing all that really brand new, just people speculating. Another week of gaming. More games are coming out continually, more awesome games are coming out, and I can't wait to see what the future holds. What do you guys think about any of this news? Is it interesting? Do you care? Let me know what you think below. Don't forget to like and subscribe and keep gaming.